we can believe very little on face value. We can take very little on face value. I'll give you an example. There's this Oregon politician, Jonathan Lopez, who has been talking about how he's the victim of a hate crime, of hate threats because of his race. I take it by the name Lopez that he's Hispanic. So he apparently received this letter that said, don't waste your time trying to become anything in this county. We will make sure you never win and your family suffers along with all the other effing Mexicans in the area. Sincerely, America. Now, I think most conservatives, if they saw that, they would say, yeah, that's a fake letter. Just like how most conservatives, when they heard there was a noose in the NASCAR race, they said, no, there isn't. Well, turns out, surprise, surprise, it was fake. It was a fake letter. Meanwhile, Lopez responded to it and he goes, I hold no resentment for whomever wrote this. Yeah, probably not because it was you who wrote it, Buster. I'm just simply heartbroken for the lack of knowledge, education, and respect missing. I pray for you and wish you prosperity in your life. God bless us all. Yeah, he wrote it. Cops figured it out. Lopez finally admitted to it. Of course it was fake. Only leftists think that people say this kind of stuff, or that, I suppose people have wickedness lurking in all of our hearts, but that on any large scale, this kind of thing happens. It doesn't. The left thinks that. This is why the nooses are almost always fake. The nooses as the hate crimes is because only the left views the noose as this universally racist symbol. Most people look at nooses and they think of suicide, or they think of the Wild West, or they think of a symbol of death that goes back to the Bible and Homer, that goes back through all of our civilization. Only the left, which is living in this very particular racial fantasy land, views the noose as this racial symbol. And so when it comes up as a racial incident, we all know that 9 times out of 10, 99 times out of 100, that's going to be fake. And usually it is. This is where the left is pushing us. They want us to live in this system that they have created. Conservatives don't. We want to tear down that system and return to proper institutions that are not based on fantasies. Then there are the liberals, the squishes, the classical liberals, even the moderate progressives. They're the people in the middle who think that there is a middle ground between all of this. And they published a letter in Harper's Magazine just yesterday, a letter on justice and open debate. Our cultural institutions are facing a moment of trial. Powerful protests for racial and social justice are leading to overdue demands for police reform. Yada, yada, yada. The forces of illiberalism are gaining strength throughout the world and have a powerful ally in Donald Trump, who represents a real threat to democracy. The free exchange of information ideas, the lifeblood of a liberal society is daily becoming more constricted. Blah, 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 blah. We all need to have free thought and free ideas, and we all need to be liberals in the best sense of that word. And it's signed by lots and lots of people. I think about 150 people signed this. Some well-known leftists like Noam Chomsky and many other people. 150 liberals signed it. Now, the hard left is trying to cancel people for signing that letter. It's not the conservatives trying to cancel them. It's the hard left trying to get people fired for signing even that milquetoast letter. Already 2 people who signed it have backed out. So much for standing up for free exchange of ideas. So much for defending our liberal institutions. Already 2 people have backed out. Carrie Greenidge, who's an historian, she said, I do not endorse this letter. I'm in contact with Harper's about a retraction. And the author and transgender activist Jennifer Finney Boyle, who says, I did not know who else had signed that letter. I thought I was endorsing a well-meaning if vague message against internet shaming. I did know Chomsky, Steinem, and Atwood were in, and I thought good company. The consequences are mine to bear, I'm sorry. So she's saying, yeah, I agree with everything in the letter, but I don't want to be associated with some of the people who are slightly to the right, almost center-right. This shows you there is no middle ground. And I know there are a lot of conservatives who say, I'm a conservative because I'm a liberal. I just want to return to the free exchange of ideas. This is why people are upset when we criticize Ilhan Omar and say she has no place in Congress, no place in the United States if she wants to tear the whole country down. They say, what about the free exchange of ideas? What about, yes, of course, we defend the free exchange of ideas, but not at the expense of the free exchange of ideas. We defend and because we're speaking too abstractly, let me put it in more concrete terms. We defend our American political traditions of free speech and open debate in so much as they don't undermine the whole country. We actually have something to say. As a conservative, I don't merely stand for the free exchange of ideas. I also stand for some of the ideas that we're exchanging. And too many conservatives have bought into this kind of pathetic letter, this lie, that there is this liberal, middle, neutral ground that we can stand on, where really all we care about is the process, the form of talking about things. No, we stand for things as well. We stand for some of the content of the speech. And for the last several decades, the left has offered not only a form of debate, but substance to the debate. And the right has been too squishy and too cowardly to do that. We can't do that any longer. It's coming to a head, guys. They're ripping down statues of George Washington and torching cities. Okay? They're instituting blatantly discriminatory, racist policies. They wouldn't call them racist because the racism goes against Asian people and against white people, but they're doing it. I mean, there is even consider this kind of racism, which I would find to be an anti-black racism. Princeton just wrote a letter, and a number of faculty members and people at Princeton wrote it to the university. And they said that they must educate the Princeton University community about the legacy of slavery and white supremacy, actively confront Princeton's ties to and culpability in slavery and white supremacy. You're going to hear a lot about white supremacy. Form an internal committee of faculty and students of color to hold the university accountable. So you're going to give people special power based on the color of their skin. And then this is my favorite part. On racial equality, they say, remove questions about misdemeanors and felony convictions from admissions applications. They are actually conflating being black with being a felon. By the way, how many felons apply to Princeton? I guess some, but probably not that many. My guess, not that many. And how bigoted. How outrageous to say that it's synonymous to call someone black or a felon. That is the kind of insane racialized system, though, that they are pushing. There's no middle ground. Take a stand here. This is the moment to do it. I fear that if we lose this battle right now, this election actually does seem to matter. I know every election is the most important election of your lifetime, but they're burning down the country, so, I think this one matters a little bit more than, say, Bush v. Gore, okay? I fear that conservatives are going to sit in the middle, sit on the sidelines, say, well, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to offend anybody. I'll post the black square and go along with Marxists because they're bullying me. I'll vote for Biden because, Trump colluded with a porn star in Russia and didn't pay his taxes or whatever other lie the New York Times is going to write. And then we're going to look back and say, gosh, we should have stood up. Where were the conservatives then? Well, here's your chance, guys. Here's the call. Stand up for something. A system will be dismantled. It's up to us which system that is. This video is sponsored by BlinkSale, the revolutionary invoicing software for contractors and small businesses. Spend less time billing and more time making bank with BlinkSale. Get a free trial at the link in the video description.